Alright boys, welcome back to another video. Knicks Daily here. We are 2 days away from the regular season kicking off in Boston, of course, against the Celtics, the defending champions. We've gotten some bad news the past few days of the Knicks. Precious Achiuwa got hurt in Friday's loss against the Wizards in the preseason, and he's set to miss 2 to 4 weeks. Shamet ended up being waived. He is expected to rejoin the Knicks later on, but now all of a sudden we're without two of our key rotational pieces off of the bench. And obviously Mitchell Robinson won't be back until next year, which means that essentially we're without a starting center and again, two key guys coming off of the bench. The Knicks, they officially revealed their roster to start the season, and it actually did surprise me. I'm going to be completely honest with you guys. Kevin McCullough Jr. makes it, Tyler Kolek makes it, Ariel Hukporti makes it, and Bacome Dadier makes it. So all four rookies we drafted ended up making the roster. Now I think the reason for this is because it's the cheapest option. Karl-Anthony Towns, he's making about $60 million a year. So when we made that trade, we had to give up Devo and Randall to even be able to afford Cat. We don't have much flexibility outside of the starting lineup to be able to bring in players. TJ Warren was certainly going to make the roster. The only reason he didn't is because of financial reasonings, because guys in the front office and guys on the coaching staff actually were huge supporters of Warren making the roster, but the Knicks just didn't have the money to be able to do that, right? And that's something we've said on the channel, is they can't pay Shamet and they can't pay Warren. So that's the downside of having the best starting five, in my opinion, in the league, is that our bench isn't exactly the greatest. You take a look at who's going to be coming off of it. Miles McBride is a lock. Cam Payne's a lock. I would say we don't know about the five. It could be Jericho Sims. It could be Ariel Hukporti. Tyler Kolek, what's his role going to be? We just don't have any wings. Legitimately, like, is Dadier going to be a part of our rotation, a 19-year-old rookie? And for Tibbs, I just don't see that happening. Jacob Toppin made the roster as well. I believe, isn't he on a two-way contract? So, I mean, these young guys are going to have to play early on. They're going to have to go out there and contribute. In our schedule, the first 10 games is just absolutely brutal. We've got Boston on opening night, and then Friday we take on the Indiana Pacers. We've got on Monday the Cleveland Cavaliers, Wednesday is the Miami Heat, and then we've got a soft game at Detroit against the Pistons, and then Monday is at Houston against the Rockets. They've got a very good young team. Atlanta, Milwaukee, Indiana, look at the Philadelphia 76ers. I mean, there's a lot of good teams. You're looking at the Bucks and the Sixers are championship contenders. The Celtics are championship contenders. Pacers and Cavs, I think, are going to make the playoffs. And then, of course, like the Rockets and the Heat are two teams that certainly have what it takes to make the playoffs. And then you got like a bad Hawks and a bad Pistons team. But yeah, there's a high chance that the Knicks get off to a slow start this season early on, because they have an entire new starting five essentially that's still figuring it out. Josh Hart is going to be the key in that starting five. He only scored 2 points the entire preseason. He did not shoot the basketball well. What can Josh Hart give the Knicks as a scorer? Because we know he can rebound, we know he can play make, he can facilitate. He's just a Swiss Army knife. But in terms of scoring and shooting the basketball, teams are going to force Hart to beat them as much as they possibly can, and we've seen that in the preseason. So that's going to be something to monitor. But I'm hoping ultimately that Shamet does end up rejoining the Knicks because of his ability to shoot the basketball. Yes, he's not Dante DiVincenzo. No, he's not going to break Devo's three-point record, right? He's not going to, I don't think he's going to hit 11 threes in a game. I mean, Devo was just by far, I think, the best shooter we've ever had. I mean, it was only 1 year and he made a huge impact. But we still need shooting to make up for losing DiVincenzo, right? Because yeah, we got the best player in the trade, but we lost one of our best shooters. We lost one of our best players overall, but still, Devo's biggest role was being able to space the floor to be that first read off of a Jalen Brunson pass, because that's why Brunson, or a large reason why Brunson was so effective, was because if he ended up passing the ball, if they wanted to double, or if they wanted to hedge the defense towards him, well, that first read was Dante DiVincenzo, and he was able to shoot it from basically anywhere on the court, and that made the Knicks even more dangerous. The Knicks were building something special, and they decided to gamble and bring in Mikal Bridges, but the upside is certainly higher, right? If we had our team last year, just kept that same team, we would have been very, very good, but we're trying to win a championship, and I'm sure there was concerns about, can that Knicks team do it? There isn't really concerns about, can this Knicks team do it? The only concerns are going to be health, the durability. We've seen already. Mitch now is out until next year. Losing Achiuwa, losing Shamet. OG, can he stay healthy? Just primarily OG. and Mitchell Robinson. I think those are going to be the two guys that we're going to need to be out there, because I'm not sure if we can win the championship without Mitchell Robinson. If he can come back and be healthy and dominate, he's going to certainly lift our ceiling. And then OG is a guy who, when he was on the court, we didn't lose back-to-back games all year. We were the best defensive team. He was also giving us some high-level three-point shooting, specifically in the corner. We know OG, the first play of preseason was a play designed for him. The Knicks were designing plays for OG a lot last season. So in terms of our overall roster, I really am not huge on it, if I'm being honest. We have 4 rookies. I don't know how much contribution we're going to be able to get out of really everyone besides Ariel Hukporti. As much as I do like Tyler Kolek, defensively, he is a liability right now. Hukporti, he played 4 years professionally. Of course, he came out of Germany. So this is a guy who, he's strong, he's physical, he's going to be able to bang down low. I don't really have too many concerns about Hukporti. I think he's the one rookie I actually trust the most right now. But in terms of Kolek, McCullough, and Dadier, what can these guys give us? What can Jacob Toppin give us? I mean, we are going to be asking a lot out of the starting lineup. It's going to be interesting, man. It's such a difficult thing to predict, because an ordinary team would be playing their rookies. They wouldn't have any issues about it. But for the New York Knicks and head coach Tom Thibodeau, I don't see a vision where really we see any of these young rookies contributing, man. I think the one guy who has a realistic chance is Ariel Hukporti, just because the guy who's in front of him, he's probably better than Hukporti's probably better than Sims. Kolek certainly is not better than Cam Payne, because Payne's been in the league for a while. One day Kolek will take a spot. It might even be in the second half of the season, but right now I am definitely going to be putting my money on the veterans. And yeah, just carrying 3 rookies and Jacob Toppin, you want to have as many guys as you possibly can be able to help you win basketball games. That's why TJ Warren, Landry Shamet, Precious Achiuwa, I thought were going to be such huge roles for this team. But it's going to have to be next man up. And why not give the young guys a chance too? Because we've seen in the past the Knicks go to young guys and it's helped them win. Emmanuel Quickley is the most notable. Certainly Obi Toppin that got the Knicks to a point where they were a better basketball team. His shooting ability, running the fast break. No, I'm not saying he was better than Julius Randle, but just getting Toppin out there after Randle was on the bench, I thought was a huge thing for the Knicks and made them better, right? So Quentin Grimes is another guy that comes to my mind too. The Knicks started to play him, and defensively, he took them to a different level. I think the Knicks are honestly probably going to run as few of guys as they possibly can. McBride and Payne, certainly that's going to be 7, and then Sims is 8. And then I could see maybe 9 if they go to Tyler Kolek, and then maybe add in 10 if they go to Hukporti. They could run Sims a little bit, run Hukporti, see who they like more. But it's going to be interesting, man. It's such a difficult thing to predict, because an ordinary team would be playing their rookies. They wouldn't have any issues about it.